Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, I'm going to talk about the Eastern Conference play-in race. It is very bad, I guess, to say what the Eastern Conference play-in looks like. We're going to talk all about it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications to all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer as the days go on. So it'll be very appreciated. Every subscription, like, and all that stuff. Look to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So, the play-in race in the Eastern Conference right now does not look great. The play-in is supposed to be just something, really fun that gets really interesting down the stretch. A chance for the 9 and 10 seed to get into the play-in and all that stuff. Like, it's been a big success. This has started in 2020. It's been a big success. It's been very entertaining. This year, though, there's a big difference, especially in the Eastern Conference. In the Western Conference, it's so fun. Western Conference, you have a team like Minnesota could be in the play-in, the Clippers, Sacramento, Phoenix is trying to get in there, Dallas. Like, the Western Conference has always been really entertaining. You usually, the last couple of years, had the Warriors, the Lakers in the play-in trying to climb up. It's super entertaining. The East has had moments here and there, but this year does not look great. Right now, the standings for the Eastern Conference play-in race looks like this. So at 7, you have the Atlanta Hawks at 31 and 34. 8, you have the Orlando Magic at 30 and 36. 9, you have Miami at 29 and 35. And at 10, the Bulls are 27 and 38. And those are the teams that right now, and most likely those are the 4 teams that are going to be competing in the Eastern Conference play-in race. All 4 teams below 500, multiple games below 500. The Chicago Bulls, there's a possibility that the Chicago Bulls make a playoff appearance being 10 plus games under 500. There's a real shot that a 36 or 35 win team could be a playoff team, depending on if they win 2 games or not. And it's been tough. I mean, all 4 of these teams have had their own struggles throughout the year. The Atlanta Hawks, they had a really good middle of the year during the, in-season tournament, the NBA Cup. They're really fun, a really up-and-coming team. Then they've had a bunch of injuries since the start of 2025. Things have gone downhill a little bit. They lost Jalen Johnson for the season. They made some trades, and they're just not a very consistent team right now. The Atlanta Magic at 8 have just been one of the worst teams in the league for the past 2 months. They've been struggling to score offensively. They lost last night to the Houston Rockets. They lost to the Houston Rockets where they barely got to 80 points. The offense has been a struggle. They've also dealt with injury problems. Jalen Suggs out for the year. And really, it's they're just a two-man show right now with Paolo and Franz. Even their defense hasn't been as elite as we're used to seeing it. Miami Heat at 9, they've just been kind of around 500 for the entirety of the season. Had a horrible loss last night to the Charlotte Hornets. 6 games under 500. Trying to bring in new additions like Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson at the trade deadline. And they're still trying to get adjusted there. Bam Adebayo hasn't had the greatest of seasons that we're used to seeing from Bam Adebayo. They've just kind of been stuck in this kind of weird scenario. And the Chicago Bulls, who are trying maybe lose some games, but also the GM wants to win. They have nights where they are fun sometimes. I mean, last night they had a good win against the Pacers. They have some good wins. They've been in some games. They're a team that takes a large volume of threes, and when they're hot, they're going to make a lot of shots. Kobe White's been really good recently. Josh Giddey's comeback from All-Star break has been amazing. Vucevic is having a really good season. They've had some fun moments here and there. And it's more of an indication with the Bulls being the play-in of how bad the rest of the East is, because the 76ers are right. The 76ers were right there. 76ers had like a week or two where they were 2 games behind the Bulls. Just needed like a little bit to make it, and they couldn't make it. And now the Sixers are behind the Brooklyn Nets, who are also about 4.5-ish games out of the play-in. And the Nets also are actively trying to lose as many games possible, even though they got a good win last night against the Lakers. So the Eastern Conference play-in race right now is just kind of 4 teams that are really struggling. Yeah, that's really what it is. 4 teams that are really, really struggling and somehow are still going to be able to have a chance to make the playoffs. If all these teams stay under 500 for the rest of the season, which it looks like it might happen, they're going to be 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that make the play-in with a sub 500 record. There possibility that the 7 and 8 seed in the East are going to be like 40 and 42 or 41 and 41 and somehow make a playoff appearance, because the Eastern Conference after the top 6 in the East are just the top 6 in the East, and then it's everybody else. Like we all know how good the Celtics are, the reigning champs. The Cavaliers have been having coming into the year. We thought they were going to be solid. They're having an historic season. You have the Knicks are always just going to be good. Indiana had a really bad start, but they've been clicking recently. The Bucks have Giannis and Dame. They're going to win a couple games. And the Detroit has been the big surprise of the NBA, where Detroit just being more competitive and winning over 25 games was going to be a successful season. And now they're a lock for a playoff spot. Now you don't even have to get to the play-in. They're going to be a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. After that, it just is bad. It's really bad. And it's tough to watch, honestly. Like the Hawks, they have their fun moments where you like to watch them, but they're not an amazing team. The Magic might be the toughest to watch in the NBA right now, which is saying a lot because you also have teams like the Hornets and the Jazz and the Wizards that play in the NBA, and the Magic are up there, tied with them for some of the worst watches you'll see, even, despite, the only exception is when Paolo and Franz are having big nights. Like the Magic has just been going through a gauntlet, with injuries and all this stuff. The Heat are not a fun watch either right now. It's just been a big struggle. Then the Bulls have their moments. The Bulls, honestly, out of these 4 teams, the Bulls might be the funnest team to watch, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's what it's kind of been. But the Eastern Conference right now is very top heavy. We knew coming into this year. Well, actually, no, coming into this season, before the start of the year, I felt the East was going to be very interesting to watch because yes, it might be top heavy in terms of contenders. Like there might only be like 2 really good teams out in the East, but after that, it's just going to be a lot of solid teams. And so far, a lot of those solid teams, like the Magic, like the Heat, even like the Sixers, who everyone thought was going to be a team that could make it far. They've had their own things. They've really kind of messed up a lot of things too, because now the Sixers are out of it, who are also always supposed to be a guaranteed lock for a top 4, top 5 team. That really takes a lot of stuff out of it. The Heat and the Magic, the Magic kind of taking a step back this season, unfortunately. The Heat kind of being a little bit worse than realized. The Hawks being, having moments but not really being there. It's been really, really tough for the bottom of the Eastern Conference. So as long as you're a 500, as long as you're an average team, because let's be honest, Detroit has been winning a lot of games. They've been doing their thing, but is Detroit really like that great of a team? No, but because they're better than and they've been more consistent at winning games than the bottom of the East, they're gonna be a guaranteed playoff team, which I love. I mean, that's awesome to see Detroit gonna get a guaranteed playoff series. But yeah, I mean, congratulations. Whoever wins these 2 playing games and makes a 7 or 8 in the East, congratulations, because you're going to have to go against Cleveland and Boston in the first round. And that's not going to bode well. Not going to bode well at all. But, yeah, just making this video just because I've been watching these teams in the Eastern Conference and the play-in race, and it's just like, man, this might be the most uninteresting playoff race we've seen in a very long time. Like, this Eastern Conference play-in is just like, man, like, no one kind of really cares who gets these 2 spots because we all know they're going to get bounced in 4 or 5 by Cleveland and Boston, respectively. So yeah, and thinking about the logistics of the play-in, like the Bulls are a team that probably should not want to make the play-in. Yet they're going to have to be forced to because the Nets and the Sixers and all those teams below them are just so bad that they're not going to be able to catch up with Chicago. And also I'm thinking, I thought about this when the play-in first happened back in 2020, and I thought about this, but then the plan had been so good that I'm like, you know what, never mind. But I'm thinking about bringing this back, like if you remember back in 2020 when the bubble, that's when the play-in first appeared, where they're like, you know what, let's give these teams, because we lost some games in the regular season, let's give these teams a chance, to make a play-in. And it had to be a certain game requirement. It had to be at least, I think, a 1 game difference or 1.5 game difference for it to trigger the play-in scenario. And I think we did get 1 game. I forgot who it was. I think we got 1 game of it. I think maybe after this year, who knows? If maybe not after this year, but if things like this keep going, where there's another team that's going to be like 7 games under 500, but somehow still going to make a play-in appearance because I think maybe we should go back to that, where the play-in is not a guaranteed thing. The play-in should be a trigger thing, where let's say 8 seed finishes 43 and 39, the 9 seed finishes 42 and 40, or 41 and 41. If you're a game behind, if there's a 1 game difference between the 8 and 9 seed or the 8, 9, and 10 seed, then we have a play-in. So let's say the 8 seed finishes 42 and 40, the 9 seed and 10 seed both finish 41 and 41. Then you have, okay, the 9 and 10 seed play a game. The winner of that game gets to face the 8 seed, and the winner of that game gets that final spot. Or even if the 7 seed, even if 7 seed, 8 seed, if it's like, it should be maybe it should be a certain requirement where you're a certain amount of games back, that triggers a playing scenario. It shouldn't be a guaranteed thing every year, so that we have a team like the Bulls who are 11 games under 500 potentially could make a playoff appearance because of this playing thing. Maybe. That's just me talking and thinking of things. Will it happen soon? I don't really know. I'm not guaranteeing it happening, but that's what I feel like. I feel like after this year, if things keep going like this, where there's going to be a couple bad teams that are going to make the play-in, then maybe we should change it up a little bit. Maybe it shouldn't be a guarantee thing. Maybe it should be a trigger thing where if a certain game, a certain team is 1 game behind, then it's like, oh, okay, play-in scenario. Just a surprise play-in. Maybe. I don't know. That's just me talking. But the Eastern Conference play-in, let's hope these 4 teams can continue to fight for the rest of the year and at least get some good games. Even if we know these teams are going to get, their butts kicked in the first round, at least give us competitive playing games. Like a down to the wire, last second shot type of, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. At least, if that happens, I'll take that. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, doing all stuff like that. I really appreciate it a whole lot. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I hope you're part of the journey with me. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.